Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 4 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 4 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find the list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter data and graphs. The lessons we're going to cover today are interpret line graph, interpret bar graph, interpret line plots and frequency charts. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Here I'm on grade 4 math. The chapter we are on right now is data and graphs. Let's just start with the lesson that is interpret line graphs. A research group noted the amount of meat consumed per capita each decade. What was the per capita meat consumed in 1980? So you are given the graph. On the x-axis, you are given the years, and on the y-axis, you are given the consumption of meat every year, right? You have to see the meat consumption in 1980. So find the year in the on the x-axis and match the value with the y-axis. So that is 80 kilograms. So the per capita meat consumption was 80 kilograms in 1980. Let's just start with the test question. A research group noted the amount of meat consumed per capita each decade. What was the per capita meat consumed in 1980, which is the correct option? Here is 1980, right? Match it to the y-axis, that is 80 kilograms. Option number 2 is the correct option. You are given a table of values, that is games won by the Richmond baseball team. Which line graph correctly shows the data? So basically, you are given two of the graphs. You need to match these graphs with a table of values, right? Look at the first one, 2009 50 games. Here is 2009, and the point is on. Then 2010, here is 2010 40 it is, right? Match it with a graph, match graph and table of values. 2011 20 it is, here 2011, here is 20. 2012 10 it is. 2013 15 it is. 2014, here is 45. Then you have 25 and then you have 35. Graph A is the correct option. First one is the correct option. You can match and tell me which is the correct option. Which is the correct option? Option number one is the correct option. Johnny, a doctor's office receptionist, tracked the average waiting time at the office each month. How much longer was the average waiting time in June than in July? So, which is the correct option? In June, the waiting time is 50 minutes, and in July, that is 40 minutes. So, you need to see how longer it is in June than July. So, 50 minus 40 is 10 minutes. The correct option is option number two, that is 10. At Lowell Consulting, the head of human resources examined how the number of employees with healthcare benefits varied in response to policy changes. Did more employees have healthcare benefits in 2013 or 2012? Which is the correct option? 2012 is the correct option. Very good. That's option number one. Each year, the Campbell School District publishes its annual budget, which includes information on the sports programs per student spending. What was the Campbell School District's per student sports budget in 2015? Which is the correct option? Very good. $60 it is. Option number one is the correct option. The manager of the Isaac's Cafe counted cups of coffee sold each day to determine the right quantity of coffee beans to roast. On which day were the fewest cups of coffee sold? Which is the correct option? Thursday it is. Option number two is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Interpret bar graph. Let's just start with the next lesson. Mario looked at the dates of the digital photographer photographs on his computer to find out how many photos he had taken in the past 4 days. On which day Mario takes the most photographs. So, which is the correct option? You have to look for the tallest bar, right? That is on Tuesday. So that means most photographs took on Tuesday. Let's just start with the test questions. While looking through an almanac at the library, Albert noticed some data showing the population density of various states. How many people per square mile lived in Maine in 1990? So, which is the correct option? The correct option is 40. Option number 2 is the correct option. Emma, an employee at Kirk's convenience store, looked at the sales of each of its soda products. Which beverage had higher sales on Saturday? Fizzy Fun or Pearl Soda? So, which is the correct option? The blue line represents the sales on Saturday, right? Here is Fizzy Fun and here is Pearl Soda. So, on Saturday, the higher sale is for Fizzy Fun. The correct option is option number 1 is the correct option. A zoologist counted the number of reptiles at each of its states of the state zoo. How many more snakes than crocodile does the Wilderness Zoo have? Two more. Option number 1 is the correct option. For a class project, students in Mr. Stewart's biology course counted the number of red and gray squirrels at each of the parks. Which park has the most squirrels? So, which is the correct option? Which is the correct option? Which park has most squirrels? The almond park, you need to add both. The green is like the red squirrels are 115, so 115 they make. But when you add the almond park, that makes 65 and 60, 125. Almond park is the correct option. Livingston High School Student Council recruited teachers and students to serve on each of its committees. How many more people are on the cafeteria committee than the field trip committee, which is the correct option? How many people are on cafeteria committee than field trip? 80 and 50. 30 more. Option number 2 is the correct option. After a trip to the zoo, the students in Mr. Gruber's science class voted for their favorite animals. How many children voted for penguins? So, which is the correct option? Very good, 140 it is. Look at this bar graph. Which table shows the same data? You need to match the graph and the table. So, which is the correct option? Match the graph with the table. 70, 60, 10, 100, 80, 30. Option number. First table is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson. by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Interpret line plots. Some children compared how many thank you notes they wrote last month. How many children wrote at least one thank you note? So, which is the correct option? So, you need to count all the cross in front of the number 0, 1, 2, 3, 5 because how many children at least wrote one thank you note? The least value would be 1, the maximum value would be any. You don't have to count the values in front of 0, the rest of the values you have to count. 1, 2, 3, 26 they are. Okay. Let's just start with the test questions. A craft store asked some people how many scarves they owned. How many people have more than one scarf? So you need to count the number of scarves that have more than one scarf. So more than one you have only, you don't have any value in front of two, only three have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cross. So the correct option is 5. Option number 2 is the correct option. Students in Mrs. Jane's class, math class, guessed a number between 1 and 5 and recorded the results. How many students are there in all? You need to calculate the total students. So which is the correct option? The correct option is 22. Option number 2 is the correct option. There are 22 students in all. Professor Leonard Looked at the scores from the last quiz. How many students scored fewer than 6? So, which is the correct option? The correct option is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. A tennis fan counted the number of matches won by his favorite players last summer. How many players won at least 2 matches last summer? So, which is the correct option? At least 2 matches. At most, it could be any. So, which is the correct option? The correct option is at least 2. Okay, let's see if they are 15. Option number 2 is the correct option. 15 they are. Rosa kept track of scores on her favorite radio quiz show. How many people scored 4, which is the correct option? The correct option is 8. Option number 1 is the correct option. Leo figured out the scores at the end of a card game. Which score did the greatest number of people receive? So, which is the correct option? The correct option is 8. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is Frequency charts. Let's just start with the lesson. A theme park developer recorded the number of people who visited the local water park last summer. How many people went to the water park fewer than two times? So, which is the correct option? Fewer than two times. Fewer than two is only one value, one, right? And the frequency of one is 11. The correct option is 11. Let's just start with the test questions. That the one we just did. A theme park developer recorded the number of people who visited the local water park last summer. How many people went to the water park fewer than two times? Which is the correct option? The correct option is option number two. 11 it is. The soccer coach is preparing for the upcoming season by seeing how many goals his team members scored last season. How many team members scored more than two goals last season? So, which is the correct option? More than two goals, right? So, more than two goals are three, four, and five. You need to count the numbers, the frequency values in front of two, three, and four. So, which is the correct option? Sorry, not two, three, four. That is three, four, and five. The correct option is 29. Option number two, you need to count the frequency of 3, 4, 5. That makes 29, not 23. So the correct option is 29. Craig records the number of pairs of sandals owned by each of his classmates. How many students own at least three pairs of sandals? Which is the correct option? At least three pairs of sandal, right? At least three, and at most it could be any, right? So you need to add the frequency of 3 and 4. That makes 29 again. Option number one is the correct option. A researcher asked people how many letters they had written in the past year and recorded the result. How many people wrote exactly 6 letters? Exactly 6 letters. The correct option is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. Very good. A game show. A game show program recorded the scores of its contestants. Which score did the fewest people receive? Which is the correct option? The correct option is the least value is 2, right? And who scored 7 people? The correct option is 7. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 4 math. The chapter we were working on is data and graphs. The lessons we have covered today are interpret line graphs, interpret bar graphs, interpret line plots, and frequency charts. So please make sure you have to complete all the lessons and practice questions before the next session. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you. Or either you can write down the questions in the chat box. I am here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. Any questions for which you need help? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.